Hi, I'm Lali Sage. I'm a bilingual labor law specialist with the Nebraska Department of Labor. And today I'm going to explain you how to apply for unemployment benefits in Nebraska. First of all, to apply for unemployment, you need to do, this is a process done online. If you need assistance, physically assistance, you can go to any of our job centers across the state that are available to assist with claims. So this is the actual website that individuals will need to go, which is anyworks.nebraska.gov, okay? So if you have been never registered for unemployment in any works, you need to first get registered and then you can file your initial claim. If you are not sure if you have already a profile in any works, you can click on get registered, enter your personal information, and the system itself is going to tell you if you are already registered or not. I'd like to mention that this website and the application is available in Spanish. You can find this button over here next to sign in. You just click there. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to do it in English, so I'm going to return. And I'm going to click on register, so I can get registered. I'm going to scroll all the way down, to the option number 3, where it says create a username, and I'm going to click where it says individual. I'm going to read the privacy agreement, and then I'm going to click on I agree. For the purposes of this video, we're just going to click on comprehensive registration. If you want to get registered with your resume, you can click on register with a resume. We just want to file an initial claim, and that's it. So we're going to click on comprehensive. So the first question, are you attempting to file an unemployment insurance claim at this time? Yes. We are going to read this, welcome to any works, and then click next. And this here, I'm going to enter my social security number, and then I re-enter it and click next. Did you receive workers' compensation payments? I'm going to say no for the purposes of this video, but if you have, just click yes. Have you worked since January 1st of 2019? I'm going to say yes for the purposes of this video. And also just want to mention, due to the pandemic, we have added some extra questions to identify who is eligible for PUA or for regular unemployment, and the extra $600 and stuff like that. So have you worked in more states? If you have worked in more states, you need to click yes, select Nebraska and the other state that you have worked for. But for the purposes of this video, we are just going to say, have you claimed unemployment insurance benefits within the last 12 months? I'm going to say no. Have you worked basically for the federal government since the beginning of 2019? And here you get some examples. I'm going to say no for the purposes of this video, and then click next. These are military questions. I'm going to say no. Here is where I'm going to create my username. So I'm going to say my username is NDOL123. And then it's very important that you follow these instructions. And the password the same. You need to follow all of these instructions. So we are just going to say, okay, and then we are going to select a secured question. What is your mother's maiden name? The country, United States, your zip code, 68508. If you are authorized to work in the United States, I'm going to say yes, and then my email. And my date of birth, for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to say January 1st of 1980. Mother's maiden name, I'm just going to say, let's say Doe. And city of birth, let's say Lincoln. Female. Male, you are going to be asked if you have been registered with Selective Services. If you don't know, just say no, and then just enter this information here. So I'm going to say that my name is Jane M. Doe for the purposes of this video. And my address, 550 South. This is the address for the Nebraska Department of Labor, 5616. If your residential address is the same as your mailing address, you can just check this down, click next. I'm just going to, this is the phone number for the call center. and click next. Okay, please select a method in which you prefer to receive your notifications. I'm going to say email. How do you want to receive your eligibility determinations? I personally recommend you email if you have access to an email, because as soon as a determination is issued, you're going to receive an email. If you say postal mail, it's going to take a couple of days for you to receive that information. And I'm going to say that my 1099-G, I want email to. I need to read this consent for electronic delivery, check mark this, and then okay it. And then where am I accessing this? I'm going to say home and click next. How many dependents? I'm going to say 0. Marital status, I'm going to say married. Citizenship. This is very important, because if you are a non-citizen, American citizen, we are going to ask you your information for Homeland Security. So either have handy your green card or your work permit, because we are going to require you to enter that information. And eventually, after that you file your initial claim, at some point it's possible that someone from the Nebraska Department of Labor is going to ask you for a copy of this card. So for the purposes of this video, I'm not asking anything extra. And then do you have a disability? I'm going to say no. And do you make or owe child support? I'm going to say no. Okay. Highest education level, I'm just going to say high school diploma. Attending school, I'm going to say no. I'm not trying to enroll in the next 12 months. Next. Okay, what is your current status? So I'm not working. From the type of business, private business. I'm filing my initial claim to be a claimant to receive unemployment benefits. Are you currently looking for work? I'm going to say yes. Do you have any licenses? No. And the only questions that you need to answer is the ones that have a star over here, the ones that are required. And have you worked as a farm worker in the last 18 months? I'm just going to say no and then click next. So since the most recent Sunday, have you been physically able to work? Yes, I'm not sick, so I can work. Since the most recent Sunday, have you been available to work? Yes, I'm not in the hospital or I'm not incarcerated, so yes, I'm available to work. Are you self-employed or the owner or operator of a business or farm? If your case is yes, please say yes, because you are going to be asked another set of questions to determine if you should be eligible for PUA. But for the purposes of this video, we are going to say no. In this part, we are in the employment miscellaneous. And we are in the first question, are you attending or do you plan to attend to school or training? I'm going to say no. Are you filing for trade benefits? Trade benefits is basically when your company closed in the United States and moved abroad, maybe moved to Mexico or to Europe or to Asia. And that's the reason why you're like losing your job. So for the purposes of this video, we are going to say no. In the past 18 months, have you worked as a professional athlete? No. And are you filing for unemployment insurance benefits for reasons related to the COVID-19? If that is your case, please say yes to this one, so we can identify that your most recent employment is being affected due to the pandemic. And then we are going to click next. Are you unemployed as a direct result of a pandemic or major disaster? I'm going to say yes, because the coronavirus is affecting my employment. In what state were you affected? Well, I'm going to say Nebraska. And what was the major disaster? Well, 19. Okay. Are you self-employed, business owner, worked with a religious entity or a gig worker? Maybe you are like a musician and whose employment was affected by the COVID-19. If that is your case, say yes. But for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to file it as works for someone else and I receive W-2s from my employer. If you are self-employed or a gig worker, you are going to add, like I mentioned at the beginning, you are going to be asked like more documentation, like your tax return and stuff like that. Okay, did your employer offer you the ability to telework? I'm going to say no, because me in the location to do my job. Are you receiving sick leave or other paid leave equal to your normal pay? Maybe you are receiving vacation pay. I've heard of some people that their employers are giving them some type of pay called the furlough pay. So if that's the case, say yes. But for the purposes of this video, no. When was your last day worked? Let's say when the pandemic started on March 15th, let's say, of this year. Did you quit your job because of COVID-19? I'm going to say, no, I did not. And depending on the answers that you give, the system is going to ask you different questions, too many. But this is very important for us to identify in which pot to put you. Are you laid off due to lack of work after a business closure? Yes. Okay, say yes to that question. Okay, so yes. Do you have an expected return to work? If you know exactly when you may return to work, say yes, and the system is going to ask you to enter a date. But if you don't know because everything is so uncertain, just say, were you to start working but was unable due to the closure of your business caused by COVID-19? They were supposed to start on March 16th, but they couldn't because the hotel closed or something like that. No. Because I've seen so many cases that they say, yeah, we're supposed to return on April 30th, but didn't happen. Did you do any type of non-W2 or self-employed work in the last 18 months? I'm going to say, no, I just work, give me a W2. And this is just like an acknowledgement statement about penalties and stuff like that. So I'm going to say yes, read that and say yes, I understand. Once that you're ready, just click next. If you're a member of a union with a hiring hold, you have to say yes and include the local number of the union and the name of the union. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to say no and then click next. What is your desired job? Or maybe what you're doing right now? I'm just going to say I'm a server. And then over here, I'm going to select the one that is the closest what I do. So I'm just going to say I'm a waiter, and during the last 18 months, where the majority of the weeks you work part-time, I'm going to say no, I was working 30 or more than 40 hours a week, and click. To be considered part-time, it's that you are working 25 hours or less per week. Are you Hispanic or Latino? I'm going to say yes. And this won't affect your unemployment claim. This is just information for us to know who is applying and stuff like that. And no, I don't know, I'm white. But if you wish to not answer, you can just say, I don't want to answer. And this is very important for people that speak another language than English. So do you primarily speak a language other than English at home? If you say yes, you are going to be asked which language. If it's Spanish, because we have several Spanish speakers, we will be contact you in Spanish. But for the purposes of this video, we're just going to say no and then click next. And this is military service questions. I'm just going to go and then click next. Do you have a valid driver's license? I'm going to say yes. If you don't have a valid driver's license, we are going to ask you for maybe just a state ID. Just going to say, this is it, and Nebraska issue it, and then click next. What type of benefit payment would you like to receive? So if you want a debit card, we will mail you a debit card that is called the Relia card. And then once that you receive it, you can activate it. And once that you are eligible and there's any benefits that need to be, that are payable to you, you are going to receive them in your debit card. If you want direct deposit, you can do so too, but we will need your bank account number and your routing number. For the purposes of this video, we're just going to say we want a debit card. And this payment deduction. So do you want us to withhold the 10% for federal tax, the 5% for state tax? We are going to say yes, because if you say no, I mean, that's fine. You are going to receive full benefits. However, when you do your taxes, you will have to pay back that 10% or that 5%. But if you need the money right now, that's fine. But if you prefer to start paying your taxes for unemployment purposes only, at the time that you are receiving the benefit, you can do so too. And you have an outstanding overpayment on Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as SNAP or food stamps. I'm going to say no for the purposes of this video. Okay, so here we are going to start with the claim itself. I'm going to click. Okay. So this is the employment history, and like the system is going to show you all of these employers that you possibly worked for in the last 18 months of employment. If you have not worked for none of these employers, you can always select, I have not worked for any of these employers, and you can add them yourself. If you can select the employer, like, oh, maybe I work for Duncan Aviation or Munoz Mesa or any of these options, you can select it. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to say no, so I can show you how to add an employer. So I'm going to say no, I have not worked for any of these employers. I don't know what you're talking about. And okay, so are there any other employment history items that you would like to add? I'm going to say yes, because over here where it says employment history, this is basically the employers that we will take in consideration for your claim. I have no history, so I'm going to select yes, because I want to add one. And here you start typing, I don't know, let's just select whatever, that's this one. And it's going to, if the information that we have already on file from the employer is going to be shown here out of field. There's nothing that you have to do there, and then you scroll down. Did you earn at least $1,760 from this employer? I'm going to say yes. Is this your last employer? Let's say yes, because I'm not going to add multiple employers. I'm just going to say this is the only employer that I have worked for in the last 18 months. And let's say that I was a customer assistant, just to say something. And then I'm going to select the one that is the closest one. And then what type of employment is it? So let's say this is regular employment, and it's full-time, and it's a regular full-time work. And I worked 40 hours a week. I'm paid, let's say $12 per hour. And no, this is not salary commission based. Let's say I start working on January 1st of 2018. Are you currently employed? Yes, but I cannot make it to work because of the pandemic. But yes, I'm still working for them. I mean, I'm still employed. I still have a job with them, but I cannot go to work because there's not enough work for me to do. So I'm still employed with them, but I cannot work due to lack of work. And when the pandemic is over, I'm going to return to work with them. Did you have any earnings during this week? I'm going to say 0, because I said that I lost my job over a month ago. Okay, so in this week, I have not earned any wages. I have not worked any hours. What is the separation reason? I'm going to say lack of work, because right now I cannot work. There's no work for me to do. So when was the last day that I physically worked? I'm going to say March 15th of 2020. If the employer is going to call you back to work in 112 days, go ahead and say yes. if you don't know, just say no. If you say yes, the system is going to ask you more or less when. For the purposes of this video, let's say June 1st of this year. And then you are going to be asked like several of questions on why are you separated from your employer. And I'm just going to say no to all of these questions because no, I've not been separated because I have a car, my job has not been transferred to another country, and stuff like that. But if like one of this is yes for you, just go ahead and say yes. For the purposes of this video, I'm just going to say no. And here, just a short description of what you do. Let's say I'm just rep, just to say something. Then scroll down, and this is very important because if you have received or will receive vacation, severance, holiday pay, sick leave, bonus, wages in lieu, and you don't let us know, and then you receive full benefits, and then a couple months later we find out that you received this, you will be put in an overpayment. So it's very important that you are honest with us because we will get you eventually. So for the purposes of this video, I'm going to say no. But if any of these questions are applicable for you, just say yes and enter the information that is required. And no, I have not received pension, and no, I have not received workers' compensation. All of this wages or earnings are disqualifying for unemployment, depending when you receive them and the amount that you received. So for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to say no. Oh. Okay, so this is not right. And apparently I need a phone number for my employer. So let's say this is a phone number for my employer. If you don't know, you can always Google it and enter just a phone number that you find online, and then click save. When you add an employer into a claim, or and you file your initial claim, on that same day, we are going to send something called separation information form to your employer. So your employer is going to be notified that you filed for unemployment, and we are going to ask this employer several information like first, last day work, separation reason, did you receive any vacation pay, and so and so. So if you don't tell us, your employer is going to tell us. So just be honest, please. Okay, so this is the only employer that I have worked for in the last 18 months. So no, I don't want to add anything else, and I'm just going to click next. If you have more employers, click yes. And another thing is, like, even if you don't add all the employers that you work for in the last 18 months, we are going to know that anyway. So the separation information form is going to be sent out to the employer. And I'm saying this because when I talk to people and I start asking about all this, maybe they work in the beginning of 2019, and they're like, no, but I didn't add it because I haven't worked for this employer in a long time, and I'm just requesting unemployment benefits for my last employer. And it's like, yes, I understand, but you don't get to pick and choose which employers we are going to use. We are going to use all of them, and all of them are going to help or affect your unemployment claim. So I'm just going to click next here, and you can review your claim. I'm just going to click next. And self-certification. Have you been diagnosed with COVID-19? No. And this is our new questions. These are for the COVID-19 purposes. So you can, I'm just going to say no to all of them. And then just click next. And again, this is information that is going to help us to determine your unemployment claim. And okay, so are you ready to file this claim? Yes, I want to file this claim, and click next. And this is very important. You are going to read every sentence, and you need to acknowledge each one. By you checking every box means that you read and are understanding every box. So yes, I am a US citizen. Yes, I understand that I need to report all my wages. I get a lot of questions like, oh, I didn't know I had to report my wages. Yes, you did. You were told here and you acknowledge that you were going to tell us that. And then, for example, I have from Sunday to Friday to file for benefits for the previous week. This is what I was talking about, the weekly claim. So, and other people is like, oh, why have not received my unemployment benefits if it says that I'm eligible because you have not filed your weekly claims? But I was never told. Yes, you were told. You acknowledged. And also, as a claimant, it's your responsibility to get informed, to read the guide. We have a handbook. I'm going to show you how to access that information. So basically, I'm just going to go ahead. And this is very important. In order for you to receive unemployment, you need to be able and available. That's why we ask you those questions at the beginning. But maybe right now, there's people that say, no, I'm not available because the COVID-19. Well, yes, I understand. That's not your fault. And then, okay, you click this one again, just to certify that all the information that you have provided in your application, it's accurate and complete to the best of your knowledge, okay? And then, okay, so I'm just going to click next. And here you can print or view the rights and responsibilities that we just acknowledge. So let's just click this one and you are going to be able to get those. I'm going to read all of this information. Click next. It's basically what you just acknowledge, okay? Once that I get here, that means that I filed my initial claim, okay? This is how your profile in Any Works is going to be shown as a claimant. Once that we are, I want to show you a little bit more once that we are here. If you are already registered with Any Works and you want to file your initial claim, you log in with your username and password. This is how this is going to look, your dashboard. On the left side of the screen, you are going to find different menus. The third menu says Services for Individuals. This is the one that we need to go. So we scroll a little bit below, within the middle, we are going to find the option that says Unemployment Services. We are going to click on it. And this is all of the options for your unemployment, basically. The first column, the first row, this is where you need to go every Sunday to file your weekly claim. For example, if you want to file your initial claim, or if you already have an existing claim that you filed maybe on December of last year, and you want to reopen an existing claim, reopening a claim or filing an initial claim is second column, third option, file a claim. We will identify if it's an initial claim or a reopen. And then if you want to update your banking information, maybe at the beginning you said you wanted to receive the debit card, but then you change your mind, you can go to update banking information. If you receive a determination that you do not agree with, that's very important. You have 10 days to file an appeal. You can go here to file an appeal. Okay, let me go back. So I'm going to click on File a Weekly Claim for Benefits, and any weekly claims that you have filed are going to be shown here, okay? To file a weekly claim, you need to go to File Your Weekly Claim to continue your claim. Right now, the system is not going to allow me, but it's going to ask you questions like, for example, are you able and available? Did you work? That's the first question you're going to be asked. If you work, even if you work 1 hour, you have to say yes. And then you are going to be asked the gross wages that you earned. So just multiply the hours that you work on that week times your rate of pay, how much you are paid per hour. And then that's going to be your gross pay. You can earn up to 1/4 of your weekly benefit amount, and we won't make any reductions on your benefits. But if you earn more than 1/4 of your weekly benefit amount, we will make deductions dollar by dollar, okay? You are going to be asked if you were incarcerated. You are going to be asked if you receive any type of benefit payments from an employer, like vacation pay, bonus, sick leave, pension. Did you receive workers' compensation, or did you apply for workers' compensation and stuff like that? The weekly claim doesn't take that long. It's just like probably no more than 10 questions. To review your existing claim, and this is going to tell me like details about my claim. And right now, due to the high volume of claims, it takes a long time to get someone in the phone. So I recommend you to log into your profile, go to claim summary, and you can see a little bit more of what's going on in your claim. So in this case, I'm going to receive potentially $440, which this is the maximum weekly benefit amount that you can receive in Nebraska. And basically, my claim ID number is this one. And this is just like information about my claim. And then outstanding claim issues. If you see information on outstanding claim issues, that means that there are active issues in your claim that we need to review. So if you see information there, that means that we are still working on your claim, okay? And if I have filed any weekly certifications, I'm going to be able to see the information here. I'm going to see when I filed the weekly claim, which weekly claim I filed for. And then over here, if you have received any benefit payments, are going to be reflected here. And basically this is the employers that we are taking in consideration for my unemployment claim, because these are the employers that have reported wages in my claim. Because like you saw, I added a different employer, but it's not shown here because we are waiting for the employer to provide to us those wages. In this case, Duncan Aviation has already reported those wages. They have acknowledged that I work for them all of these times. That's why I can see this information here. I'm going to return to the dashboard, but I think this is the majority of the information that we need as a claimant for unemployment purposes. Well, thank you so much. However, if you still have further questions, I encourage you first to check our NDOL website, where you can find so many resources and information. However, if you prefer to talk to someone, you can reach us at 855-955-8863. You can if you don't want to wait on the phone and you prefer to send us an email, ndol.unemploymenthelp@nebraska.gov. I hope this video has been very helpful. Thank you so much.